your feet tucked under you or cross-legged, whatever feels good to start. All right, and so if you're in the room, you'll be on the same side to start as I am, and then Zoom or opposite. So go ahead and let's take the arms up, big inhale, and then exhale, take your fingertips behind you and just lift the chest up, shoulders back. So you're sitting nice and tall, and then just bring your hands comfortably to your lap. And go ahead and close your eyes. And take a deep breath and exhale all the way out. Making that transition from your outer awareness to that sense of being an inner observer. And start by focusing on the breath. Noticing the gentle movement as you inhale, extend through the chest, expand through the belly, and then contract as you exhale. See if you can relax the shoulders as you exhale. And just take note of any excess tension. See if you can let that go. And maybe set an intention. And that could be anything from focusing on engaging the abs or maintaining your breath to movement, or just finding a comfort in the posture that works for you. And take a few more breaths. And we'll go ahead and open the eyes and bring your hands to heart center. And with the breath, we're going to start to lift the hands and open the hands like a book. So you're separating the thumbs as you bring the elbows together and lifting the forearms. So right here, you feel that real separation in the shoulder blades. And then as you continue up, you're inhaling. And then as you exhale, you'll bring your thumbs back together. And then we'll separate the hands and feel the shoulder blades come together and float down on your exhale. And again, bring the hands together and then open up. You bring the arms up, really feel that stretch between the shoulder blades, keeping the elbows together until they lift, and then exhale. And one more time, hands together. And then we'll open up. So we're starting to get some range of motion in the shoulder blades, the shoulder joint, and let that go. And then take your hands and we'll interlace the fingers behind the head. And inhale, lift the chest, drop the shoulder blades. And then exhale, we'll round the upper back. Feel that stretch behind the back of the neck. And inhale, expand, looking up, lifting the chest, lifting the heart, and exhale, rounding. And inhale, extend, and exhale, round. We'll come back to neutral. Take your hands back to your knees, and then just place the palms in the front of the knees, and we'll do some seated cat-cow. So from here, as you press back on the knees, we'll bring the shoulders back and lift the chest through. So you have a gentle back bend as you inhale. And then exhale, we'll round, bringing the navel to spine and using your hands to resist as you bring your chin to chest, and inhale. And exhale, round, finding flexion in the spine. And inhale, lift, Lift the chest, bring the shoulders back, shoulder blades together, and exhale around. And inhale, lift, drop the shoulders, lift the chest, and exhale round as the navel comes to spine, finding length from the tailbone to the top of the head. And then we'll come back to neutral. And let's take your gaze straight ahead, drop the shoulders, and we'll just bring the ear to shoulder. So you're still looking ahead, but you're stretching the opposite side of the neck. And you can bring your hands out to the sides. Let the shoulders drop. And then very slowly, you can keep the tilt, but start to turn your nose toward your shoulder. And just very slowly, so you can notice how that changes the stretch. Maybe gaze behind you. And then keeping that same tilt of the head, we'll just rotate so we're looking up. Also notice how that changes the stretch, maybe more toward the collarbone. And just very slowly rotate with the head tilted. Exhale. Inhale. And then we'll just slowly bring the head back up. And same thing on the other side. So start facing forward and then just let the ear drop toward the shoulder. And find that stretch. Let the shoulders drop behind you. And then very slowly start to turn your nose towards your shoulder or your armpit. Noticing how that changes the stretch. And maybe look even behind you down at the floor. And then we'll just rotate to look up. Finding a little range of motion in the neck. And then slowly come back to center. And you can just gently rock your head side to side. And maybe all the way around. And come back to neutral. And if you're in the room, we're going to take our left leg and extend it. And take the sole of the right foot to the inner thigh. Those of you on Zoom are mirroring me. And then press through that left heel. So that foot is active. So you're pulling up on that kneecap, flexing through the toes. And we'll just take it to a side bend by taking the elbow to the inside. And take the opposite arm overhead, keeping that sit bone rooted to the mat, and just reach as far as you can. And try to keep the hips forward so we're not sinking back, so that so we're not rounding in the lower back. You want to push forward and using the elbow against the inner knee to lift and bring that top shoulder back. So there's a little bit of a twist. So you're lifting the chest toward the ceiling, reach through the fingertips, and make sure you're breathing. Feel that stretch from the fingertips all the way to the sit bone, staying active in the extended leg. Inhale, and then as you exhale, we're just going to rotate so we face the extended leg with hands on both sides. And then extending the chest toward the ankle. So we're not rounding here, but lengthening the back, the front body and the back body. Breathing. Lengthening through the back of the neck. So you're not dropping your head or lifting it up. So it's a nice long straight line, top of the head to the tailbone. Notice your breath. And then you can take that hand that's on the inside of the leg and just take it to the opposite ankle or shin, wherever you can reach. And we'll start to bring a little twist into it. So you can bring that outside hand back a little bit, pressing into the mat, and just use that opposite hand on the pinky toe side to bring yourself into a little bit of a twist. You should feel that across the back. Maybe exhale, come a little deeper. Then we'll release, walk the hands back up and keep the legs where they are. And we'll just start to rotate toward the bent knee and come into a spinal twist. So you're dropping the shoulders and lifting as tall as you can. You can keep a slight bend in the elbow of that arm that's in back so you can really drop the shoulders. It's a little bit more difficult to breathe when you're in the twist, but see if you can notice the inhale and exhale, expansion of the belly as you inhale. And then very slowly, we'll take it back to center and just switch legs. So in the room, your right leg is extended, the left sole of the foot to the inner thigh. And then we'll take the right elbow to the inside and then take that left arm over. Again, pushing the hips forward, using the leverage of that elbow against the inside of the knee and extend that arm overhead. Bring the shoulder back. Remembering to breathe. Pressing through the heel of the extended leg so that leg is active. And then we'll start to twist toward that foot and extend, lengthening from the sit bones to the top of the head. Drawing the navel in so you can get a little more length. And then if you want to extend that to a twist, you can take the inside hand to the pinky side of the foot and then take the outside hand, press into the mat and come into a little bit of a twist. So you can hold on wherever you can reach and then bring the top shoulder back. So you get a little bit of a twist there. Stay active in the extended leg. And then we'll slowly release and just come into a spinal twist to the opposite side. Sitting nice and tall. Pressing through the extended leg so it's still active. Drop the shoulders. And then we'll release and come back to center. And we're going to come to have your block and your strap right in front of you. And from here, we're just going to come to a little squat. So if it's hard to keep your heels on the mat, try separating your feet a little bit. And you can also sit on the block so you just get that opening of the inner thigh. So if you can't get the heels down, make sure that you can either use you can roll the mat up and that might be a little bit extra help, or just sit on the block. So what we're going for is a little opening in the inner thigh. You can either have your hands extended, lifting the chest, or you can keep your hands together at heart center and use your elbows to open up. And inhale, exhale. And then we'll release. And if you're sitting on a block, we'll take it out and just hold on to your strap. And then we're going to start to extend the legs. So we're lifting the hips and we're coming in to a forward fold. Let the head go. Feet are facing forward. You can heel toe them in so they're closer to hip width apart. And just let the shoulders be heavy. You can keep a slight bend in the knees. Maybe rotate your head side to side. You can keep your hands on the blocks if your hands don't reach the floor. And then we're going to take the block and place it right between the thighs, just above the knees. Hold on to your strap and then bend the knees, and we're going to roll up to stand, stacking the vertebra one at a time, using the abdominal muscles to roll you up vertebra by vertebra, and then just let the shoulders fall into place and the head comes up last. So make sure you feel that block in between the legs that keeps the legs active. There's a slight engagement of the abdominal muscles. Shoulders are dropping back. Chest is lifting. Let's go ahead and take our hands wide. We'll start with some shoulder openers. Really good stretch. This is one of those where if there's nothing else that you do, this is a really good one. So from here, start pretty wide, and we'll start with the arms down. And then as you inhale, we'll lift the arms. And then we'll take the arms behind you any amount. And if you need to, you can always get wider. See if you can keep your elbows straight. You can always come a little bit wider on the strap and then come down as low as you can as you exhale. And then inhale, come up. And exhale, bring it down. Let's do that again. Inhale on the way up. And keep your hands as far apart as you need to. Abdominals are engaged. Feel that stretch. Feel the shoulder blades come together. And wherever you feel that stretch, if that's where you're stopping, then stop there. If you can come all the way down. Inhale up. And exhale, bring the strap down. You're starting to open up a little. You can bring your hands together, maybe one fist distance. And inhale. Exhale as you come down, pulling apart on the strap. And inhale up and exhale down. Good. From here, let's bring the hands a little closer together so they're about shoulder width apart. So your wrists are straight. We're pulling apart on the strap. We're going to come into a chair pose. So the inner thighs are active as we press into the block. And then we're going to bring the hips back. I'm going to face this way so you can see. So the hips come back. Arms are going to come up. We're pulling apart on the strap. Your weight is going to go more towards your heels. Abdominals are engaged. Lower abs are engaged. You're pulling apart on the strap. Shoulder blades coming together. Lots going on in this pose. Inhale and exhale. Keep pressing into that block. Inhale and then exhale. We'll just let it go. Come to a forward bend. Relax your neck. We're going to do that again. So from here, we're going to inhale as we come up. Hips come back. Lift the arms. And take your time so you can really focus on pulling your arms apart, shoulder blades together, and a strong engagement of the abdominals, lower abdominals, even the pelvic floor muscles. So we're working everything in this pose. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll come all the way up, pressing into the mat and bring the arms down. Okay, let's, you can keep the block where it is and just let go of the strap. And from here, we're going to take it to a twist. So again, we're going to drop the hips back. Let's see, can you guys see me here? And then from here, we'll take the opposite hand. So take the hand that's in front and just take it to the outside of the knee. One hand on the sacrum, and we'll start to peel that back, the top shoulder back. So you're pressing into the block. That's going to keep your knees facing forward. And start to come into a twist, lengthening the spine, top shoulder back. You can use that hand against the knee for a little leverage. And you can stay there, or if you prefer, you can come down and take your elbow to the outside of that knee, more traditional chair pose with a twist, either way. And then we'll let go and come back to center and let the head drop. Shake it out. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. So you can start in your chair pose with a hand, the opposite hand to the knee, one hand on the sacrum, and just start to peel the shoulders back, engaging through the core, lengthening through the spine as you come into your twist. And then if you like, you can do the traditional elbow to the outside of the knee, hands in prayer position, as you start to bring your hands toward the center, toward the sternum. Make sure you're breathing. And then we'll release to a forward bend. Let's take that block out. That's enough of that. And then we'll just heel toe the feet out a little bit. And again, we're going to come down. You can face me. I'm just facing this way so you get a side view. And then we'll start to lower down. Again, if you want to sit on the block, either the middle or the tallest one, to come into your Malasana or garland pose. And you can use your arms, lifting the chest. Again, find that stretch in the inner thigh. Or hands can be at heart center. Just using your thumbs to press up to find that nice tall spine. And we'll release the hands down, remove the block. And then very carefully, we're going to lower all the way down so we come down to the mat. And just let your feet come in front of you. And take your arms out. We're going to lower using the abdominal muscles. You can have your soles of the feet on the mat, arms out, shoulders back. And then using the strength of the abs, we'll slowly lower all the way down. See if you can. Some days I can get past that spot where you just want to let it go. Other days, not so much. Come all the way down. Good. And then once you're down, we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees open. So this pose can be a little intense early in the class. So I find if the blocks aren't close by, if I just make fists and just put them right at my hips, it just kind of takes the edge off. So the pinky side of my fist is on the mat. So my palms are facing each other, and it just gives me enough support so I don't feel that real intense tightness on the inner thigh. And your feet can be as far or as close to your butt as feels good. So you get that little inner thigh stretch. So you're using your fists under your hips for a little support. Yeah. And then go ahead and extend the fingers long. And we're going to press the edges, the pinky toe edges of the feet into the mat and just start to lift the hips. So right away, as soon as you start to press the pinky toe side of the feet into the mat, you're going to feel everything engage. Inner thighs, glutes, abdominals. You don't have to come up very high. Just notice the engagement of all those muscles. Inhale, and then exhale, and then slowly lower all the way to the mat. See if you can keep your shoulders relaxed, face is relaxed. We'll do that one more time. Start by pressing the edges of the feet, pinky toe edge of the feet into the mat, engaging the abdominals, and then lift the hips. Notice the muscles that are engaged. You'll feel strong engagement of the glutes here. Lower abs. And slowly lower down. So this time, let's separate the feet. So the edges of the feet are still on the mat, but we're going to, maybe take about 7-8 inches between the feet. so that when we come up, we're going to bring the soles of the feet to the mat. So from here, same thing. Start with the edge of the feet, pressing in, and then lift. And then from here, let the soles of the feet roll onto the mat, knees come together. So we come into a traditional bridge pose, abdominals strong, pressing the knees away. Shoulders are relaxed, face is relaxed. And then we're going to open up again, back, separate the knees back to the edge of the feet, and slowly lower it down. Good. Let's do that again. So again, inhale, exhale, we're going to press it up, and then let the knees come together. Find your bridge pose, lift the hips, maybe bring the heels a little closer to the glutes, pressing the knees away, inner thighs pressing together. Inhale, and then exhale, we're going to open up, separate the knees, and then lower down one vertebra at a time. All right, that's a good one. We're going to do that one more time just because that's a really good one. It's also working the abs, glutes. Okay, so inhale, exhale, press into the edge of the feet, lifting the hips. Feel that engagement in the glutes, and then we'll slowly bring the knees together. Coming into your bridge pose, lift the hips a little bit more, press the knees away. See if you can keep the upper body relaxed. And then we'll go ahead and let the knees separate back onto the edges of the feet and lower down. Good. Let's take the feet with the soles to the mat, to the very edges of the mat, with the toes pointing at a little angle. And we'll just do a little windshield wiper. So the knees go to the same side. Inhale to come up, and then exhale, drop the knees to the opposite side. So the feet stay wide. And you're just inhale, coming up, exhale, let the knees go, and arms can be relaxed. Just loosening up all the core muscles that we just worked. Good, come back to center. And we're gonna come up onto hands and knees. So you can do that by either rolling to one side and then pushing yourself up, or you can also just rock up and then cross your feet, and we'll just come into hands and knees. This is where I really prefer having a little extra padding under the knees. It is warming up a bit. Okay. So your wrists are under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and you can have your toes tucked, or you can come down onto the tops of your feet. And we'll just start with little cat-cow in a hands and knees position. So as you inhale, we'll let the belly drop, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chin. And then on your exhale, we're going to round, pushing into the mat, dropping the tailbone, let the head drop. So you're lengthening the spine from the tailbone to the top of the head. And then inhale, opposite arch, looking up without over pulling on the neck. And then exhale, round, bring the navel to spine, really press into the mat. And inhale, and exhale, round. And let's come to a neutral position. So make sure that your abdominals are engaged. You're not letting it drop. You've got the abdominals working. So we have a neutral spine. Will be just a little bit of a dip in the lower back. And send the right leg back. So the right ball of the foot is still on the mat. So, and then press through the ball of the foot so you feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. We're gonna, on the inhale, we'll lift that leg, keeping the hips square. So you have equal distance between both hips, and you can stay there. Or if you want to add on, we can take the opposite arm and reach it forward for a spinal balance. Reaching from the toes, or you can point the toes. Press through the fingertips, finding length, keeping the shoulders and the hips square. Inhale, exhale. If you like, you can bend that back leg and reach behind, either toward that foot or holding on to that foot, coming into your spinal, to a bind, lifting the chest, and press that foot into your hand and lifting, shoulders back. And we'll re-extend slowly and bring everything down. Bring the knee back, bring the hand back. Okay, one thing, let's take the left leg back so it starts on the mat. Press through the heel and start to feel that stretch in the back of the leg. Keep your abdominals engaged. Inhale to lift. As soon as you lift that leg, start to feel your abdominals working. And then if you like, extend the opposite arm. Point the toe, reaching nice and long. Everything is engaged. Lower abs. And then if you like, bend that back leg. And you can reach toward that foot, or if you can, hold on to that foot and lift the chest. Feel that stretch in the front body. Press the foot into the hand as you lift that back leg. And we'll re-extend and bring the hand back and the knees back. Okay, let's, in the room, you're gonna face the front, and we'll come onto the mat long ways. And we're gonna extend the right leg out if you're in the room, left leg if you're facing me. And from here, we'll point the toes toward the corner of the mat, and then we'll take our hands not in front, but somewhere between the front knee and that foot. So we're kind of at a diagonal here. And just start to bring the hips back a little bit, reaching the arms forward so you should feel a stretch in the inner thigh. Inhale and exhale. Maybe come back a little bit further. Press the sole of the foot to the mat. And then we'll slowly walk the hands back and come back up. And have your toes facing forward. And then from here, we'll just, let's let the arms slide down the leg. We'll take a stretch over the extended leg. Bring that top shoulder back, side bend. Before we did it in the warm-up in the seated position. Now you're in your gate pose. Top shoulder comes back. And see if you can keep your hips pressed forward. Inhale to come up, and then we'll just take that hand down and then take that stretch from the fingertips to the outer edge of that extended leg. And use the inhale and that arm to come back up. And let's take the hands behind the head. And from here, we'll just do a little waist strengthening. So we're just gonna tip your elbow toward the knee, keeping everything aligned. So the shoulders and the hips and the leg are all in one straight line. And come up. And then take it down. Feel that stretch, feel that compression on that side, using the muscles on the side of the waist, and come back up. And dip, and come back up. From here, let's take the arms out. And this is the one that reminds me of I'm a little teapot. Remember that? You take one hand down. And then from here, let's lift that leg, toes facing forward. And we'll just lift and lower. Keep that foot flexed. Abdominals are strong here. Keep the shoulders back. Lift and lower. And lift and lower. And lift. Hold it there. And then we'll take the top hand to the back of the head. And then we'll just curl that elbow to knee and extend. And curl elbow to knee and extend. And elbow to knee and extend. Let's lower that foot. And this is a tough one. We've been working on it every now and again. So we're going to strongly press into the sole of the foot of the extended leg and the supporting arm. And we're going to see if we can lift that knee that's in the center. Now you may not come up very much, maybe that much, if at all. If you can, the trick is to really press into the sole of the extended foot and the hand. Use your abdominals, and then we're going to curl in and press it down. Good. Also, you can keep your toes under you if you want to take the toes and use that as a little lift. Little kickstand, that's good. Audrey, that's a great way to just get a little bit of balance there. And one more time, lift and hold it and let that come down. Let's come up and we'll just stretch. See if you can point the toes this time out to the side as much as you can. And we'll separate the arms, keep the hips tucked. So we're in a modified triangle pose. You can take that top arm, let it come over. So you really feel that stretch in the rib cage. Inhale to come up. From here, let's bring that foot in. So now the knee is over the ankle. We're going to take that arm so the fingertips come to the mat and press that elbow into the knee. Bring that upper arm up so we're in a modified side angle, and you can really use that elbow to open, keep that knee aligned, bring the top shoulder back, press the hips forward, and breathe. Inhale to come up. Good. All right, let's bring the knees together. We'll take it to the other side. We'll start that on this side. So let's start with the feet at an angle toward the corner of the mat. And then we'll bring the hands down somewhere between the knees and the hands. So we're also facing the corner of the room. And just start to bring the hips back. And just take it wherever you start to feel that inner thigh stretch. And we'll slowly walk it back up. And then bring the toes to face forward. And then from here, we'll take the hands behind the head. And we'll do our little dip toward that extended leg and take it back up. And dip. And up. And dip. And up. Let's extend the arms out. And then we'll drop one hand, fingers facing the short end of the mat. And then lift that leg so the toes are facing forward. And we'll just lift and lower and lift and lower, working the abdominals here. Lift and lower and lift and lower and lift. Take the hand to the back of the head, point the toe. Inhale and exhale, bring it in and extend, and then bring the navel to spine as you tighten the abdominals And elbow to knee and extend. One more time, bring that elbow to knee and extend. From here, let's lower that leg. Make sure its toes are facing forward, pressing through the sole of that foot, all four corners of that foot. Strong in that supporting arm. That shoulder blade is tucked back. And then go ahead and lift that knee any amount. And lower. And one more time, lift. It may not come up very far. And lower. And lift. And lower. All right, let's come up. This time, pointing the toes toward the short end of the mat. We'll come into our triangle pose. So your fingers are separating. So you're not so much rounding here, but extending through both sides of your rib cage. Nice and long. Neck can be, you can be looking at your foot or take your gaze up. And then take that arm and extend it over. And come back up. And we'll bring that foot in. So the knee is over the ankle. Take the fingertips to the inside of the arch, and your elbow is against the inside of the knee. And we'll take that opposite arm up and over. So pressing the elbow into the knee, shoulder forward, lifting the chest, press the hips forward. And come on up. All right, let's come back to facing the top of the mat. All fours, separate the knees, and let's come into a child's pose just for a minute here. Come back any amount. You can extend your arms. If you prefer your knees together in the child's pose, that's fine. Otherwise, knees are wide, toes are touching. Stretching out the lower back, inner thighs. And then we'll walk the hands in. Let's bring the knees in. Take the hands out a little bit. And we're going to tuck the toes. And using the strength of the abdominals, lift the hips and come into a downward dog. Took a while, but we got here. So go ahead and pedal your feet so you can bend one knee, straighten the other. Really feel the stretch in the calves, pressing the balls of the feet into the mat. And when you're ready, we'll come to stillness, pressing through every part of the hand, fingertips, ball of the fingers, heel of the hand, lifting through the sit bones. Inhale and exhale. And let's bring the feet a little bit closer together. I'm going to lift that right leg. And then go ahead and bend at the knee. And then open up the hip. So trying to keep equal weight on both hands as you lift that bent knee and drop the foot of that. So you're opening up the hip any amount. The heel of the supporting leg is still on the mat, so you feel a stretch in the back of that leg. And then let's even out the hips so they're square. And we'll bring that knee all the way in, come up on the ball of the supporting foot, bring that knee as close into the chest as you can, look forward, and then we're going to step that foot forward. Take as many steps as you need to. If you're here, then take it here till you align that knee over the ankle. Back leg is lifted. Then from here, pressing into the back ball of the back foot and the front foot. Engage the abs and then bring your hands to that knee. Find your balance. So you need a lot of core engagement here. We'll take the arms up. So you're in your Crescent Lunge, reaching through the fingertips. And And then from here, we're going to bring the back heel to the mat. And then we're going to come into a warrior two. So we're slowly going to rotate on that back foot. Keep the front foot knee bent. And you can adjust the distance between your feet. You want to make sure you can really press into the back foot. Shoulders are aligned over the hips, reaching strong through the hands. Breathe. We'll take the palm of the front hand and turn it over, coming into a reverse warrior. Take it overhead, either looking up, or you can take your gaze to your back hand. Feel that side stretch. Inhale to come back up. Then we're going to go ahead and straighten the front leg. So, oh, you guys are facing, sorry. Okay, let's come into a triangle. So can you see me in the mirror? If you want to flip around, you can do that. It might be easier for if you're in the room. Yeah. So your right leg, just remember you're working on your right leg. Good. And we're going to reach as far as you can, and then we'll come into our triangle. So here we're trying to lengthen both sides of the rib cage so we're not bent over, but extending. Hips coming forward. Again, you can gaze up at your hand or down. Sometimes if you're feeling it in the neck, it helps to tuck the chin just a little bit. And we can take that arm and extend it over. And take it back up. Inhale to come up. And let's bend into that front knee. We'll take the elbow to knee. This time we're going to keep a straight line from the top of the head to the outer edge of the foot as you come into your side angle. Option to stay right there, using that elbow to keep that knee aligned over the toes. Or if you like, you can take that bottom hand so the fingertips are to the mat. And we'll come back up. Come into your warrior two. And then we'll come back. So both feet are facing forward. And let's just do a little straddle stretch here. Inhale and exhale, feet facing forward. And you can give your head a little shake. And from here, let's point the left toes, if you're in the room, to the short side of the mat. So your right foot, the pinky side is parallel to the back of the mat. And then from here, we're going to come up and come into your warrior two. So you're still facing me, but the left foot is forward, bending into that knee. Make sure you find a distance so that you can really feel the press of that back foot into the mat. Align the knee over the toes, arms come up. So make sure you're not too far forward, but the shoulders are over the hips. Feel the opening in our thighs. And we'll come into a reverse warrior. Shoulders drop back, feel that strong stretch in the rib cage. Option to look back at that back foot. Inhale to come up. And then we'll go ahead and straighten that front knee and come into your triangle. Option here also to use a block, if that helps. Your triangle pose, you can have it right behind that front ankle here. And we'll take that arm and extend it over. And take it back up. And then let's go ahead and bend that front knee. Take the forearm to the knee. And then find that straight line, let the hips drop. Shoulders back. Using that elbow, the forearm to keep the knee aligned. Pressing through the outer edge of the extended leg. Option to take an arm down. Open the shoulders. And then inhale to come back up. And from here, let's just, we'll windmill the hands down to either side of that front foot. So we come back to a high lunge. We didn't do it on this side. So your left foot is forward in the room. So you're back on the ball of your back foot, heel is lifted, pressing into all 4 points of that front foot. Use your abdominals strong to climb up onto that knee. Take the arms up and find your crescent lunge, dropping the shoulders back, maybe a slight back bend. You can have a slight bend in the back knee if that helps. Want to keep the lower back nice and long and lifted, dropping the tailbone. Inhale, exhale, we'll take the hands down. And then let's take that front foot back. So we're back in downward dog. And we'll pedal it out. And from here, let your knees come to the mat. And walk your hands back. And let's just come onto our backs. And then we'll slowly lower down again, arms out, using the abdominals, sneaking in that last little bit of abdominal work. And then let's take the right leg and just cross it over so the knees are stacked. And then take your arms out to the side and slightly shift your hips to the right, letting your knees drop to the left. See if you can keep the shoulder blades on the mat. Option to take the hand on top of the top knee for a little extra stretch. Gazing toward the ceiling or one side or the other. Whatever feels good on your neck. Inhale and exhale. See if you can release any holding in the legs. Just let them drop toward the mat. So gravity is doing all the work. Just letting go. And then inhale, we'll bring the knees back up and uncross. And then we'll just take the left knee over the right and shift the hips a little to the left and just let the knees drop. Same thing on this side. Shoulder blades are on the mat. An option to take a hand on the top of the outside of the knee. Inhale, exhale, just let gravity do the work. And then if your hand is on that knee, you can take it back and uncross the legs, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and go ahead and extend one leg and the other leg. You can bring your arms down to a gentle angle from your shoulders. Go ahead and close the eyes. We'll come into a short Shavasana. Inhale and exhale as you let go of all of the effort. And let your breath come to an easy, natural rhythm. See if you can release any tension in the shoulders, the upper arms. Those of you at home, you get to stay there. Those of us here, we hear the voices outside the room. So let's go ahead and just stretch the arms out long for a nice full body stretch. Inhale, exhale, bring one knee in and the other knee in. And we'll just roll to one side and just use your arms to press you up. And if you can face the front of the room. And just keep your eyes closed just for one more moment. Bring the hands to the heart. Inhale and exhale, let the shoulders drop. And just before we run off into the rest of the day, just take a moment just to feel any differences in our body, a sense of balance. A moment of gratitude. Have a wonderful day. Namaste. All right. Oh, it's so good to be back. I can't tell you how great that is after sitting in an airplane all day. Oh, that's the best.